Hey guys, welcome back to Shaketube 2017. It's week 2 and we're discussing our feelings about Richard III. This is one of my all-time favorite Shakespeare plays, right up there with Hamlet and King Lear. I love how this play opens up with just Richard on the stage and he delivers this really powerful soliloquy which kind of sets the tone for the entire play. It kind of lets you know what has happened recently, about his feelings of himself, and what his plans are for his future. As it opens up with the first lines, "Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the son of York." The son of York being his eldest brother, King Edward IV, who's just vanquished all foes to the York family. They've laid down their armor, they're raising their arms in victory and celebrating, dancing with women, just having a great time. I think Richard sort of feels a little bit envious of others, never having probably felt love before. Maybe he doesn't quite love himself as he describes his deformity within that opening soliloquy. "I that am rudely stamped and want love's majesty, I that am curtailed of his fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time." He goes on to say that since he cannot prove a lover, he is determined to prove a villain. And that's where his ambition, it just takes over. He wants the crown, and he's already showing that he's laid the groundwork to kind of cast doubt on his older brother Clarence in the eyes of their older brother, the king. And as the play progresses, he's slowly removing these obstacles between him and the crown. You have Edward's two sons, which would be next in line for the throne, then Clarence, and then himself. And he uses people throughout the play. Buckingham, Stanley, all these people are, I won't use the term pawns because I'm going to refer to it as checkers. This is just the analogy I'm choosing because, of course, in checkers you get crowned in the end. And these people are just checkers to him. He's willing to sacrifice them to achieve his ultimate goals. Now, as the play goes on, we meet several characters within it. The Duchess, that's his mother, she comes to hate him as well for all the conniving deceitfulness, and she, I think, sees his hand in some of the events that are taking place with Clarence and his plots against the two princes. We also have Queen Elizabeth, King Edward's wife, later widow, and there's Anne as well. Anne is the wife of the daughter of the former king. So the former king was Henry VI, and his son Prince Edward, and Richard and his brother, the current king, killed them to attain the throne. So Anne is left behind, the widow, and there's some great scenes where she runs into Richard as they're carrying the corpse of her late husband, and she's just cursing him left and right. She's at the height of her hatred, and he somehow manages to make her feel sorry for him and eventually convince her to marry him. It is just crazy the way he can manipulate people. He is exceedingly clever. He's a ferocious fighter. And just the way he's able to manipulate people. Even later on, manipulating Queen Elizabeth. After Anne's passing, he manages to convince her to put in a good word with her daughter, Elizabeth, young Elizabeth, they refer to her as, who's actually his niece, to possibly marry him in the future. So yeah, he's able to twist people left and right. One man that's really close to Richard is Buckingham. He is sort of Richard's right-hand man, willing to commit murder to help him in his schemes. He's just as ambitious as Richard is. But after a certain point, his conscience starts to play upon him, and he's not quite so willing to commit murder. And that sort of changes Richard's mind about him. Another man who works with him is Stanley, but Stanley is sort of working behind Richard's back. He's the stepfather of Richmond, Lancashire, who wants to gain the throne back for their family. And on the eve of battle, when Richmond's like building an army to go against Richard, he sends Stanley to, counteract that and build up an army for him. And because he kind of doubts Stanley's loyalty, he threatens Stanley's son. He says, "You go do what I command you to do, but leave your son here. And if you fail me, your son will lose his head." In fact, one of Richmond's followers, Blunt, even states that he hath no friends, but who are friends for fear, which in his dearest need will fly from him. And that pretty much sums it up. He even says himself, "No one loves me, no one pities me," but he doesn't, open himself up to that. His ambition and his greed and his villainy pushes people away. As this battle kind of, they meet on Bosworth Field, and it's the eve of the battle, and he's trying to, lay down and rest, and he's visited by the ghosts of all that he's wronged, all that he has had murdered. His conscience is really starting to play upon him. There's some great lines here. It says, "My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings in a several tale, or a different tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. There is no creature loves me, and if I die, no soul will pity me. And wherefore should they, since I myself find in myself no pity to myself? Methought the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and every one did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard." And yet Richmond has completely a different night before the battle. "The sweetest sleep and the fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head. Methought their souls whose bodies Richard murdered came to my tent and cried on victory. I promise you my soul is very jocund," or jolly. So he has the same visitations, but totally different outcome. As he describes those people that visited him in the night, Richmond says, "For what is he they follow? A bloody tyrant and a homicide, one raised in blood and one in blood established, one that made means to come by what he hath and slaughtered those that were the means to help him," meaning his allies. He ends up killing them as well. Anyway, overall, thoroughly enjoyed this play. I'm happy that I got a chance to read this again thanks to Shaketube, and highly recommend you guys pick this one up if you're interested in trying a Shakespeare play. I think this is an absolutely great one. Of course, I'm biased because it's one of my favorites. Anyway, on the week 3 we'll be beginning Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, I've never actually read the play. Again, only seen televised versions of it. So be interested in looking through some quotes and things and highlighting this book just like I did the heck out of this one. So hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.